There's a question. Discuss. Right decision?
Well,
Son?
first of all, I love the answer from Conte. He's like, I don't care. I don't care whether he likes it or not. I'm the gaffer. I pick the team. I think it's the right decision, just the wrong time, personally. I mean, I've seen Spurs quite a lot this season, and I've seen Son, listen, great player, really good player, but this season he hasn't been at it at all. I think there's been a few games already so far where he should have rested him. In terms of current form, what we're seeing as a front three right now is right. I just feel that because we know how good Son is and because we know what he's capable of, what's the perfect game at this moment in time? If you could choose one game to get the confidence back, it would be Leicester at home. So I'm really surprised that he's on the bench. But in terms of current form, yeah, look, out of the four players, four strikers, he's probably the least in form.
Well, I think, first of all, you've got to pat him on the back, Conte, for prizing money out of Daniel Levy. And what I mean by that is he's given him money to obviously make the squad bigger, to cope with the demands of Champions League football this season and obviously all the Premier League games and the Cup games. So in that respect, you know, he's got a squad that he can rotate. I agree with Scott. I think at the minute, Son is cutting a really frustrated figure. I think he's carrying the weight of expectation of what happened last season, being Golden Boot winner. And it's just not happening for him. And unfortunately, as the three of us I'm sure will agree, strikers are judged on the performance in front of goal. And, you know, he's only had 1 assist this season, no goals. It's becoming increasingly more difficult. You know, sometimes you can try too hard. And plus, you know, going back to what Scott said, I agree with Conte. He's done a piece in the Guardian today saying, you know, he doesn't explain to players because he doesn't have to, because he's the manager, and he's right. But then he does go on to say that Kulishevsky's been dropped for 3 games. It's been disappointing. He's had to explain to him, and his opportunity will come, and it's come today. But then I do agree with Scott again. I think if you're looking for a striker to gain confidence, it's against a team that's sitting rock bottom.
OK, let me ask, do you think he's been poor?
Yes.
OK, J-Mo, I know you've been analysing Son. Do you think he's been poor or not?
No. No.
Why?
What is interesting, again, different perspectives. What I see in Son, similar to what you've been saying there, it's a guy who's trying too hard, but not recklessly. I think he's trying to focus more than he should do. Harry Kane went through this last season, and you could tell that he's not missing by much. He misses shots by a yard or two. That's someone who's got the ability, but not focused just right. Whether he should have stayed today is interesting, but he's made 4 changes from that side in midweek. So it looks like Conte thinks there's more than just Son is the issue here. So Son, I think, being left out, not spoken to is one thing, but if it was only him, then there'd be a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's almost half the outfield team from Tuesday, isn't it? So we're picking on Son because he's the biggest name of the 4 that is being dropped.
Golden Boot winner,
well,
reigning
absolutely,
Golden Boot winner.
And that's why we're talking about him, because it's him more than the others. J-Mo's absolutely right to say it's not just him. If it was just one change and it was him, it's almost like you're pinning the blame as what happened there. But it's not. Having said that, because we know how good Son is and the season he had last season, we're like, why is it not happening? But again, I just go back, and you're right, because he is trying, and he probably is trying too hard, but it's not working. I've been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a few times, and I've watched him, and I've seen him even on the ball, simple passes sometimes, misplacing, and I'm thinking, this is a guy who's simply out of confidence. Take him out the picture for a couple of games, then bring him back in. I go back to the fact that I just think, what's the perfect game, on paper at least, to be playing where you can get your confidence back? Strikers, we know what they're like. They go through barren spells, of course they do. They get one, and suddenly they could go on a run of like 6 goals in 5 games.
The problem with them is they work on instinct, strikers. You know, the balls come into the box, and when they're at the top of the game, they can't even tell you how they scored. It just happens, it's instinct. And sometimes when you get a player coming into the club like Richarlison, who's put a bit of pressure on him, it's not working, all of a sudden they start thinking about it, and when you start thinking about it in front of goal, that's when you lose that half a second, when defenders get the foot in and make challenges. So I agree with both what the boys say.